I genuinely believe that it is our duty to share our souls with one another, and we're not going to be weakened or vulnerable when we are doing such. I wouldn't necessarily be making all of the YouTube videos that I have if I believed that was the case, because I've found that in embracing what I have to say and saying what I need to say and sharing my experiences and hopefully guiding people towards a better version of themselves in a similar way that I have, just by following God and being true to the source of creation, it has allowed me to be able to get to this point to where I do have a secret to share. And that secret is when you realize that you can overcome the tendency to give up, that's when you realize that we really don't have a choice but to continue forward. In fact, it's better for us to feel as though we don't have a choice when we choose to, loosely speaking here, when we choose not to think that we have a choice. Because a lot of the times people don't do things until they have to. And I was a procrastinator growing up. I was a procrastinator. I wouldn't necessarily say I was lazy, but I never really did have to do things early if I didn't need to. I didn't do things early if I didn't need to, that is. And so something that I learned how to do was to stay ahead, because something that I've also been learning now, just in business and in life and in my community in general, it's that those that stay ahead of the game, those that can actually see steps ahead and treat life as the chess game that it is, they're going to be the ones that understand how to maneuver down the line. They're going to be the ones that actually don't have time and don't want to have any kind of tolerance for the BS that people are wanting to throw your way. And this is an encouraging thought, because when the I don't know exactly where this comes from. I don't know if it's a song or a movie, but the quote that's coming to mind is, be as bad as the worst, but as good as the best. And this is something that all of the men must need to really let sink into themselves in order for them to live the kind of life that they really desire. Because ultimately, as a man, what we desire, it's not a relationship, it's purpose. And so many men think that they're going to find their purpose and fulfillment within the relationships that they have. And specifically with women here, because life is about relationships, don't get it twisted. But for women, it's more important because they're communitarians, right? Women value that kind of stuff way more than we do as men. And this isn't even like a division thing. It's just, it is what it is. And men biologically need a purpose. If you don't have purpose and abundance in your life as a man, you're not going to be living the kind of life that you want. You can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, I've seen men that I've met in the past, and even men that were close to the six-figure range, like really close to the six-figure range, or just getting into the six-figure range. And they were working tirelessly. They were working tirelessly and tirelessly and tirelessly, but for somebody else. They're working for somebody else. They're not working for themselves. And so for me personally, as much as I value the service that I'm providing to people, whether it's through YouTube or consultations or the private community that we have, these things, I know, even though it's not bringing me the kind of income that I could be getting as like an engineer or something, or like this friend of mine that I had who was in the six-figure range, and he was working at a startup company, but he just he didn't have time for himself. And so he basically sold his soul at one point. We're no longer actually on speaking terms because of our disagreements. But this is another thing that we have to let go and realize, is that when you are able to let go of people that are actually not serving your best interests and collectively in the relationship, you have to let those people go. And so we disagreed, and I basically made the decision that I would rather work for less and have more time to actually be who I am and actually live life on my own terms than be completely committed to somebody else and their life and their vision and their dream. And there are certain hurdles and obstacles that come with both sides, right? But every man must make the decision for himself. He must choose his own path to take. And that's really the choice of no choice. That's the reality. And so your comfort zone will ultimately become a coffin zone if you do not act. It doesn't matter where you go, really. It doesn't matter. You got to create the life that you want. And it's going to take work to get to certain places that you want to go, of course. But that's the beauty of this life, is that you get to create it, right? So you get to go where you get to go based off of how you co-create with the universe and God. But you also, in your ability to discern that and to choose that, you also get to choose what not to do. Because ultimately, this world is vast. Like, it's not so vast, but it is vast at the same time. And so it's like we have all of these choices available to us, and sometimes people get choice overload. I know that's something that's happening in the modern dating market in general, is just choice overload for both, well, specifically for women, but for the men that are actually on their crap and doing what they do, it's a very similar case for a lot of them. And in fact, the guys that I've met through either online, through like YouTube, or they're emailing me, most of the guys, not all of them, but most of the guys that I see that are actually trying to make their lives better, they're the ones that are not in long-term relationships right now. There's a few that I see, and that's good for them. And, you know, that's really good to see, in all honesty, because we need more godly people in the world, and it's going to take a godly couple to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to share their souls because they're afraid of getting hurt. And I'm the kind of person that I keep my heart open, even if there's a possibility to be hurt, because I would rather say what I feel, be who I am. And it's not like some kind of simpy, like, oh, I just feel this way. No, it's not like that. It's just like, this is what I want. This is what I need. If you're not able to provide that or offer that or reciprocate what I need and want, then we're not compatible. So, and I'm speaking directly with relationships, but even in business, even in the community in general, I will be kind to you if you're kind to me, but don't be expecting us to go any further than that if you're not putting or reciprocating the effort that I'm putting in. So ultimately, it's going to be a transaction. And I don't like those kinds of interactions. I don't like transactional interactions, but ultimately, that's what a lot of people are on nowadays. They just want a transaction. And that's fine for them, but and I understand that that's just the world that we live in. But when we can individually recognize that there's something much bigger going on, and that when we have I don't know exactly the word for it. I was going to say serendipity, but for some reason that doesn't sound quite right. When we have the potential that we do for individual thought and individual creation, individual media. I mean, you're watching this right now. If you're this far in the video, I mean, and if you are, please feel free to like and subscribe or comment. That's the best way to support the channel to grow at this time, because that's the way the algorithms work. But you're watching this because you're finding it valuable in some way, shape, or form. Because it's not like every other YouTube channel or whatever out there. This is a channel that actually sees the potential of technology and that sees how capable we can really be if we harness the power of technology correctly. And the vast horizon that stands before us is limitless in terms of communication, in terms of knowledge, in terms of what is going on. Because ultimately, that's the great question. It's not only who am I, but it's what's going on. For me, that's the question that I'm at. Because I know who I am, but now it's like I know that I am. I am that I am. That's what Moses says to tell the people, or that's what God is commanding Moses to tell the people in the Bible, right? That I am that I am. And I am that I am, but what is going on? Like what is the that? What is the that? And I think that's something that maybe we might not ever really truly understand, but that's something that is worth thinking about. So I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.